The greatest trash talker of all time in basketball was Larry Bird. This guy was absolutely brutal with his tongue. He knew exactly what to say to hit players weren't hurt, and he didn't hold back. My favorite thing Bird would do, though, is he would tell his opponent exactly where he was going to shoot his next shot. And sure enough, the next possession, Bird would get in position, get the ball, and make the shot right in the defender's face in the exact spot he told him he would. Sure, it was antagonizing, but as far as sports go, you gotta love it. And you could say that Larry was a man of his word. This brings me to the topic as we're going through the book of Proverbs. I was asked to cover chapter 17 and 26, and I encourage you to pause this video right now and go read both those chapters. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that now. So with Proverbs, though, most people know it's the wisdom book. It's got all these little nuggets of wisdom throughout it, but don't mistake that with a how to succeed handbook. It's not steps to prosper or get rich. It's godly, biblical isms of wisdom. And to make this practical, I think a good mindset when you look at the Proverbs is to think values. Proverbs can and should help you determine and guide your values. So what did you notice about chapter 17 and 26 of Proverbs? Let me read a couple from the Message translation that stick out to me that I think capture the overall theme of these two chapters. In chapter 17, verse 27, it says, "The one who knows much says little. An understanding person remains calm." In chapter 26, verse 4, it says, "Don't respond to the stupidity of a fool. You'll only look foolish yourself." Verse 6 says, "You're only asking for trouble when you send a message by a fool." And one of my favorites, verse 12 says, "See that man who thinks he's so smart? You can expect far more from a fool than from him." There's a couple of things that I take away. The first one is guard your tongue. Be careful with your words. Be slow to speak. I really think our culture overlooks this as a biblical or a godly principle that we should uphold. But read those two chapters. There are plenty of other places in the Bible too that talk about just this. And look at Jesus' example. This piece of wisdom, this principle, this value that we read about is unfortunately a rare value in today's world, even among Christians. And I wish I had a couple more minutes to talk about this, but let me tell you, I believe social media is destroying this value in our culture. There's this whole mindset on social media that people can post whatever they want, and if you don't like it, well, then it's your problem and you can unfriend or unfollow them. Really? It's completely divisive, and unfortunately, it's carrying over from social media into our real lives. The second thing that I take away, and we've all heard this saying, actions speak louder than words. I also like the way theologian Toby Keith put it, a little less talk and a lot more action. In college, I had this roommate, and he and I were good friends, but we get into it a little bit every now and then. And it takes a lot for me to get frustrated, like really frustrated. But there's one time I'm really frustrated. Whatever happened, I can't remember, but I'm chewing him out a little bit. And he knew that he was in the wrong, and he goes, I'm sorry. And as soon as he said it, it was almost like a reflex. I was just like, I don't need you to be sorry. I just need you to do it. You've probably heard that come out of your mouth if you're the parent of teenagers. But after a year like this last one, what are you going into this new year valuing the most? Maybe it's your family, your friends, your job and your income, your personal health and well-being. Whatever it is, I want to add something to it. Make it your word. Regard your word highly, no matter who you're talking to. Think carefully about the things you say. We're called to speak in truth and love. And that doesn't mean compromising one for the other. This year, when you go to speak, first, pause. Take a deep breath and speak out in truth and in love.